Hi, guys. Today we're going to dive in and we're going to talk all about the Wheel of Life, which is one of my favorite tools to use when working with clients and even personally. So, the original concept of the Wheel of Life was attributed to Paul J. Meyer, who founded the Success Motivation Institute back in 1960. So, it is estimated that the Wheel of Life has been around since then. And Meyer was thought to be a thought leader in the coaching industry and such an amazing pioneer. And he built many programs around helping people achieve their goals, manage time, things like that. Hence, the Wheel of Life includes some of those critical components. So, the Wheel of Life, if you're new to it, is a visual tool or worksheet used in coaching to help clients quickly understand how balanced or fulfilled their life is currently in that moment. The wheel of life consists of about 8 different areas or categories. Sometimes some wheels you'll find have 10 that are important that contribute to a balanced life. With the wheel of life, clients rate their overall satisfaction with each area and then map it onto the wheel, which you'll see in a moment. And this gives them an immediate sense of insight into what's currently happening in their life and to see if there's balance in their life. More importantly, the wheel of life allows clients to see immediately which areas of their life need improvement. For many coaches, including myself, the wheel of life is a critical component and tool in my coaching practice. Okay. And it's powerful because it provides that instant overview for both the coach and the client. And it lets you know where that change work needs to take place. So, the Wheel of Life has been described as like a life management coaching assessment tool, but it's more than just an assessment because it really helps your client and helps you as the coach become more self aware and more motivated to make changes and to know where to make those changes. Having this sense of like knowledge empowers the clients and gives them a sense of direction and helps you to support them deeper. So, when we look at the wheel of life, as you see in front of you, there's health, there's finances, there's career, there's family, there's growth, there's spirituality, there's relationship, there's social life, there's things like that. But a lot of these things can change. Like sometimes people will change family and friends, like the family and friend area, and they'll break it into two. Or they may say like career and break it into work and volunteering. Or finances may be labeled something like financial security or abundance or money. Personal growth can be broken into learning or self development or personal development. Health could be emotional or physical health. There's a lot of different ways that you can leverage this. So, how you want to basically use the wheel of life is first and foremost, you want to ask your client to review the different categories that are on their life balance wheel. And then you can remember to rename or split those categories up in a way that feels more aligned for that client. Next, you ask them to rank their level of satisfaction with each area of their life by coloring up to like where they feel like they fit. So, are they about 50% satisfied with that? So, okay, they'll color up to about the halfway mark, or 75% satisfied with that area. They'll color up about three-fourths of the way. Um, and usually you want to score between 1 being very dissatisfied and 10 being fully satisfied. Okay. And sometimes I will give an example, like I might show my life wheel or I might just make up a life wheel just to demonstrate what this looks like. Then the perimeter, so the outside circle represents their wheel of life. So once they've totally completed it, you then ask your client to look at their completed wheel and ask, if you were driving through life using this wheel, would it be a bumpy ride? And 9 times out of 10, they're going to say yes, because what you're going to find is a lot of clients may feel really fulfilled in like, let's say the career area, but relationships are struggling. Or maybe they feel really great in their relationship, but they feel disconnected from their own personal growth or whatever it may be. There's going to be areas where they're doing really well and they feel really aligned. And then there's going to be areas where they don't feel that way so much. And so looking at that wheel is going to help them see if it's a bumpy ride or a stable ride. The next thing you want to do is you leverage that and coach your client around the learnings from their coaching wheel. So, what you'll do essentially is identify at least one action item for your client to work on based on the area on the wheel that feels like that's the area I want to really take action with. The cool thing that I found is the wheel is much like a domino effect, but in a really good way. So, for example, let's say someone is really struggling in both health as well as career or work. Okay. And so they say, I really, really want to focus on my health. because that's the domino goal or the domino focus that will impact me and have a positive impact in the other area. So let's say, for example, they feel more healthy, they show up work in a better energetic state, maybe because they feel more healthy, they feel more confident, so they're applying for, better jobs or whatever it may be. But you want to find that area that is going to have the biggest impact on the other areas, because the truth is they're all to some extent intertwined. Okay. So how coaches can leverage the wheel of life is there's so many options, and these are just examples. I mean, I could probably think of endless examples. So you could use it personally for your own life reflection. I know for me, as I was starting to develop like what areas of coaching I wanted to niche into, I started to leverage this wheel of life. I also use it to see where I've made my own progress and my own growth. You could use it with a prospective client. So often potential clients are unclear exactly what area they want help in your coaching with, right? So prospective clients can be really, really helpful because it highlights the areas and they don't have to be shy about announcing it. You just use this tool to help build a coaching package around them and to support them on the coaching journey. Um, you can use it in a client welcome package. So again, it gauges where your client is starting. And then when the client is offboarding, leaving like your 12-week coaching program or advancing into a new program at that time, you can now see the progress that the client has essentially made because you've used it as almost like a test to see like where the client is beginning. And it's such a tangible tool that supports the client and the coach that's supporting the client. You can use it to set and prioritize goals. So, helping clients decide which areas they'd like to set goals around, this tool is extremely powerful. And what you do is you notice the areas that they have lower satisfaction, and then you help them to effectively be able to use these tools around that. You support them at leveraging the things that you're going to teach to build that satisfaction in that area. You can also use this as a way to help a client build a magnetic future. So if you identify, okay, this is the area they really, really want to work on, the financial area of their life, right? Now you start using tools, different strategies to help them now build this future around the financial ideas and goals that they've envisioned. And you can use tools like time techniques or things like that that help them to move in that direction, but to leverage it in a great way. Um, you can use this tool to test which goals are most meaningful for a client, because sometimes we'll find that it's easy. Like, for example, for me, I always score really, really satisfied in the personal development space, but I also spend a vast majority of my time in the personal development space. So if I was coming to work with a coach and I'm like, oh, I want to improve my personal development, a coach may be able to actually use this tool to see your personal development is in a great space. What if we work on, your eating, your health, or whatever it may be, other areas that I may struggle in, right? This helps the coach to really test and notice which goals are going to be most impactful for the client. The next thing is to highlight progress. Again, I mentioned that a little bit earlier, but to kind of see where the client starts and to see where the client is extending into, this is extremely powerful. You can use this as a diagnostic tool to be able to help clients when a client is feeling like unhappy or frustrated or down. The wheel of life really scores and helps that client to have a great starting point to discover what's bothering them and to be able to take action toward what it is that they want to call in, right? Because sometimes we're dissatisfied, but we can't even figure out, we're like, my life's a mess, but we don't even know what areas of our life to start with. Okay. And so using this as a diagnostic tool is crazy supportive. You can use it in coaching programs, or you can even use it in workshops. So you can build it in to your coaching program. Anytime you start a coaching program with a client, whether it's an individual or a group coaching program, this is a great way to like take stock of the participant's current life situation. And then that way you know where to cater and structure your coaching program to where they're going. Like, for example, I have a client who has a coaching program around finances for entrepreneurs, and this is one of the starting tools and one of the starting modules that she leverages. And then you can use it in workshops. So the life balance wheel makes an excellent introduction to any life coaching workshop because it's a great tool to help clients dig in to see where their stress is coming from, where they're triggered, where maybe they're not even giving themselves credit in areas that they're doing really, really well in. Okay. So these are a lot of different ways that you can use this. I mean, and the options are endless, but I wanted to kind of get your wheels spinning to see what was available for you. After you have done the wheel of reflection or the wheel of life, great reflective questions that you can actually use. to help having the client reflect, because sometimes it can bring up a lot of emotions, right? The client's like, wow, I didn't realize how dissatisfied I was, right? And there's no judgment. It's more of an opportunity to reflect. And so these are example of questions that you can ask your client. You can say, how do you feel about your life as you take a look at your wheel, right? Are there any surprises that stand out for you? How do you currently spend your time in these areas? And can you see how your time could be contributing to satisfaction in certain areas and contributing to dissatisfaction in other areas? How would you like to spend your time? How would you like to make that shift in your time? What would make, let's say they get a poor score in the area of family. What would make that score a 10? What would you need to do to make that score get there? What would a score of a 10 look like? What would it feel like for you? Which of these categories do you think can create the most impact in all the other categories if we focused on them? How could you make space for these changes in your life? What help and support might you need from others to make changes and to be more satisfied with your life? And what changes do you want to implement and change the most first? What is the smallest step you could take to get started? I love this because a lot of times we think of these quantum leaps we have to take, but really it's those small, seemingly meaningless steps that actually create the most impact. And then if there was one action area or one key action that would begin to bring everything into balance, right? So that you didn't have such a bumpy ride, what would that be? And these are, again, great reflective tools to get your client thinking. Remember, your client already has the answers within them. You're just supporting them at pulling it out. And then finally, I want you to consider, because I'm sitting here lecturing you and talking to you about the wheel of life, and I could talk about it endlessly because I absolutely love it, right? But using the coaching wheel of life is just the beginning of creating such an impactful and meaningful relationship between you and your client. So, how can you effectively leverage this moving forward? How can you begin to implement this into the work that you do? I want you to remember that this assessment and this tool is an extremely powerful and flexible modality and tool that you have access to. And so, however, and in whatever creative ways you want to leverage this, give yourself permission to do that. And understand that this tool is going to provide your clients with so much clarity, the ability to make changes to improve their lives, and the motivation to keep it going. So do not skimp out on this tool. Do not sleep on it. It is a game changer for your business. So go ahead, dive in, let your wheels spin, and consider how you can begin to leverage this today.